we talk about warm market. I started to look at people that I knew. That's who I started talking with. And when I talk to a new agent, I instruct them, hey, who do you know? Who's a quality person that you would trust to help another family? Who's someone that's good at sales? Who's someone that's hardworking? And reminding people to look at that. That's the first thing that we start with all the time. Why? Because there's a speed of trust. And I'm not going to get into all that today. We've got other great tools at warm market recruiting, but understand that's still the pillar. That's still the king. That's where we want to start, because it's amazing who and what good quality people you'll find when you start there. When I'm serving an agent, I ask them, I say, hey, I appreciate the opportunity to serve and help you, make you better. Here's something how we can help you. Who is someone that you know? And I'm learning to ask all the time. If you're needing more help in the green book, there's a list builder. When we're sitting across from a client, we're thinking, that's how we found Megan Wood, right? Because somebody was reached out across the client. Now, maybe you're sitting across the table with a client that's 70 years old. Okay, maybe they're not your ideal person to build a business, but maybe they've got kids or grandkids. So keep thinking. This talk is really beyond the warm market, and one of our big tools now, like what am I doing now? I'm working and looking for licensed agents. And I like calling people that have come off of a licensed list. And in that, I like it when we get licensed lists. You can get some that you pay for. You get some that are free. I like the ones that you pay for. Why? Because the lazy, cheap agency builders are all going for the free stuff.
That's right.
So if you will pay for a list, you'll get better quality that's less worked. It's kind of like the same thing in leads. You kind of get what you're paying for. So that's big. So we find good quality people. We like it when they're newer, like they've gotten their license in the last 0 to 12 months. Why? A, maybe they got their license but don't have anybody to work with. B, maybe they've got their license and they've just realized that they're not with someone nearly as good as the Alliance. And they've jumped out of the plane, and we can catch them as they're parachuting down and help them land in a much better spot. Next tool, ZipRecruiter ads. That's the way you can target. Some people say, what do I like best? I like everything because everything works a little bit. But certainly, I'm probably giving them to you in that order. I certainly like warm market, then I like licensed lists. LinkedIn ads. This is something we've just started. And I believe they were talking about it at one of the breakout sessions with Andy yesterday. And the LinkedIn ads are working well. We're finding quality individuals. They may not be licensed. Some are not. But we're finding people that have a high show rate, that act professionally, and it seems to work well. And I certainly like the caliber of what we're getting better than what I've seen even in some of the ZipRecruiter ads. Monster resume pulls. We have the ability to go into Monster and target a search and pull people that meet a certain criteria. That's another tool that's out there that's working for us. All right. Meanwhile, as I'm talking to people, Andy always says, you got to be like the center linebacker. Inside linebacker. Hey, head on a swivel. You know, you've got to be on the lookout. Who is someone that's sharp that's popping up, whether it's someone that I've met, that I've interviewed, or somebody that's been led to me, or someone that's in depth. So this event here is another form of us working. We're being intentional on who are we having meals with new people that we want to get to know and spend more time with, because we're trying to, guess what? We're interviewing. So if you're like, I didn't know we was interviewing. Yes, trying to figure out where can I spend more time? Where can I help somebody grow faster? So if you've been invited to a meal, show up and be ready to learn and engage. Every tool's working a little bit. Nothing's working 100%. All right, so now we got people to talk to. What are we doing next? I've got staff. I suggest you get staff along the way, and they book interviews into my calendar, to Noel's calendar. We even help other agents that don't yet have staff book interviews into their calendar. So that work is done with people that are helping us out. We use tools like Calendly. The interview candidate gets a reminder. We get reminders. It manages it. It helps us have a decent show rate. Some people are auto-booking themselves, maybe from a linked ad or from a ZipRecruiter ad. Sometimes on the ZipRecruiter, people that book in, Show rate's not always super high, but it's there. But sometimes we get some no-shows. So one of the things we're big on is if I have downtime, I have a choice. Kind of like when you're out in the field and you have a no-show, you've got a choice. You can do like I would like to do, which would be to drive to Burger King and get a sympathy Whopper and a shake. Because I felt I deserved it, right? And then about 20 pounds later, I realized that wasn't a great strategy, so I should do some door knocks because I would burn calories and meet with more people. Same thing here. If I have a scheduled interview that's not there, I am going to call some resumes or get a hold of some people or have a list of another agent that I can talk to. I'm going to use that time that I said I'm going to put toward my business. I'm putting it toward my business. I don't take it as an excuse to stop working. When I'm calling somebody for an interview, I'll call them once. Guess what? Just like a lead, sometimes they don't answer, even though it's a scheduled call. I turn around and call them a second time. They don't answer, I leave a voicemail. And then I send them a text. What's the text say? You dumbass, I can't believe you didn't show up. No, that's not what it says. That's what I want to say. But my autocorrect changes it and it says, hey, Robbie, this is Mike with Tri-State Financial calling for the interview that we scheduled, that you have scheduled. Can you talk now? Just very simple, okay? And you'd be surprised how many people will then pick up or respond back. They didn't know the number, even though we said in the communication ahead of time it would be a 502 number. That's just part of what happens. Okay, let's see. Next up, my calendar structure. I like to work in blocks of time. I find it's most effective. So whether I have an hour or 90 minutes or 3 hours, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to have my calendar full. That's my staff's job. I said, look, here's my block of time. Fill it up. And their job is to make it full. Typically, I'm booking on 15-minute increments. Now, some people say, well, what if I have one that takes longer? Same thing with a client. If I have one that's longer, that's fine. And we're managing expectations. It doesn't say Mike's going to call you at 2 p.m. It says Mike's going to call you between 2 and 2:30. And then my 2:15 says going to call you between 2:15 and 2:45. So I manage expectations as best we can. I show up. If I have somebody that I like, I might spend more than 15 minutes. And if I have a ding-dong head, I'll probably spend less than 15 minutes so I can get caught up. And sometimes if it's a bunch of self-booked people, we might double book. Double book? Yeah, just like your doctor does to you because he don't know if you're going to show up. Okay? So act as if your time is valuable. Calendar and time, that's big. Okay, we start talking. Guess what? In my mind, recruiting is selling. And my interview is much like an insurance sale. Here's the flow. It's bond rapport. It's getting to know them. And Jason Mathis did a great job yesterday talking about that. From there, we're getting into form to help build that, right? Family, occupation, recreation, and money. You've heard this. It works in selling. It works in recruiting. From there, what are they currently doing for work? We get into the weeds. We get into details about that. We're finding their pain. Just like with a client that's got life insurance or doesn't have life insurance, what's their pain? If you can't find their pain, how do you know what to present to? And then from there, we present who we are, and it's tailored to their pain. Some of you like to say, well, I just want to get into my spiel. Well, because you're giving a spiel, that's why you got nothing but an eel. It's like, this is a human. You're solving a problem. You need to be aware of what the problem is. Okay, and then from there, as we're finding out, hey, is this a match? We're closing. We're moving forward. We're taking action, formulating a plan. And then we're doing a bam fam. Okay, and so that's the flow. We'll get into some details here. It's okay. You're going to see those again. We got one slide for each of you. Missed that or didn't get all written down. All right. So bond rapport. First thing, when I answer the phone, I bring energy. I behave like I would want them to behave with me. So as most people say, Mike, every time you answer the phone, you have great energy. It's because I choose to. Whether it's an interview or an agent calling me, it's rare that if you call me and I answer, you're going to catch me at a down moment because I know when I hit the green button to answer, it's showtime. It's showtime. And so I understand that. You need to understand that. I start off with basic things. Hey, where are you from? Did you move there? Were you born there? Basic stuff. And then sometimes there's a story. When I get into education, I ask, hey, tell me, did you go from high school right into the workforce? Or did you stop in college? Did you make a pit stop at college along the way? Now, why do I ask it that way? I'm very intentional. I don't want to insult them if they didn't go to college. So I don't say, well, tell me, did you go to college? And then they have to say no. And all of a sudden, now it's like you've made them look bad. You want them to feel good. Because if they feel good, they will like you. So don't ask them a question that's going to make them not like you. I almost expect that maybe they didn't go to college, and it's a plus if they did. That's how I treat it. If they did go to college, where'd you go? What'd you study? Did you get a degree? We can work on that. But don't ask it in such a way that you might be a put off. All right, work. I like to ask, what have you been doing recently? What are you doing now? I've heard an agent ask a 7-year-old, well, tell me about your work history. Well, back in 1927, and then 3 hours later, and you're wondering, why is my interview taking so long? Because the quality of your question sucks. Why don't you say, what's your job, or what have you been doing most recently? Start there. And if you want to work backwards, you can. So that's my tip on how I save time and find out. Okay, family. Here's something I learned from Andy. I said, hey, tell me, do you have a family that you're responsible for, that you're helping to take care of? Do you have family that you're taking care of? I don't say, so tell me, you married? You know, that can be off-putting too. So that's almost like a yes or no, like, is it good or bad? I just say, hey, you got a family you're taking care of? And they say, well, what do you mean? I said, well, you got some chickens, goats, alpacas. And sometimes they laugh. And so maybe you got some kids or spouses. Keep it wide open, I don't care if they're monogamous. If they can sell, that's what I want. In fact, if they got multiple wives, they're good at selling. And so I put that on my resume. Okay. And then, hey, what do you do when you're not working? What do you do when you're not working? So, and along the way, I'm learning to survey and look for something that we can go deeper on. So as we're doing this is an interview, and I am sorting and I'm selling. I'm sorting. Are there things that I like about them? If you notice when Andy had the group of 21 up here, he went deep on some stories. He started to talk to Angela, and he went deep on, so how did the billing work? What did your revenue structure like? He asked several good questions about one thing. He didn't go paper thin over 100 things. He took one thing and really tried to see, hey, I sense there's a story here. What might it be? And so sometimes you're looking for a story that's interesting or impressive. And when you go deeper in that, one, you're finding out how smart they are or not. And two, you're getting them to open up more, and you're just getting way more insight as they're telling that story. I'm also looking for reasons that they can win. I'm looking, do I have signs of a winner here? Sometimes I've got the Alliance Aiden up, and I'm getting a sense of, hey, how long did they spend at this job? I'm going through in my mind. Sometimes I have that Alliance Aiden check sheet off with those 10 factors there, and I'm sitting there asking myself, what am I seeing if I need to be reminded? Now, I have to be careful because I've had a lot of experiences and I know certain stuff. And sometimes it's easy for me to be like, oh yeah, me too. If I get somebody talking about swimming, well, I swam in college, I had kids that swim. I try to not to act like I know a lot about swimming. I act like I don't know as much, and I ask them more questions. Now, maybe I can ask better questions because I know a little bit, but I don't try to come across as, oh, wow, look at my history. It's so much better than yours. And not that I would do that intentionally, but sometimes just because we're excited about something, we might go too far and become a one-upper. I want them to feel special about what they're telling me because I want them to like me. right? And so you've got to remember, I'm selling and sorting. That's the part where I'm selling, is getting them to like me as they're telling a story. And anytime I see something of interest, I'm intensely curious. I'm thinking, what else can I ask about this? This seems pretty crazy. I've never heard of that. What more can you tell me? That's a crazy. I had somebody tell me about some medical condition. I'd never heard of that. How does that affect you? Now, they're the one that brought it up, right? They were telling me about something that happened. I was like, oh my gosh. And so I'm just going to get them talking and learn what I can about that. Finding their pain in their current situation. This is big. What do you like best about your current job? What are you most excited about being there? Let them tell you. Sometimes they'll say, well, nothing. I say, whew, okay. Then as I get into it, I say, what do you like least about your job? What's the one thing you could change if you had a magic wand? If you've got a guy who says, I love my boss, I love what I do, they're paying me a ton of money, and you can't find any pain. I'm like, well, Joe, this is an interview for a position. Why are we talking? And so if that, it's like, why did you take this call? Well, I don't know. Well, and so if I can't find any pain or can't occur it to them that there may be more in life, what else am I going to do? He's happily married to his boss, right? Figuratively speaking. It's like, okay, don't sweat it. Don't spend time. Mike, I try to present to him. It's like he's not looking. Go to the next interview. Okay, current income. Hey, how much you getting paid to do what you do? Somebody will say, well, that's private and personal. I know. So is you working with me. I said, I know I'm not working for the IRS, but seriously, are you making, and I always guess high. I said, for someone that does what you do, a software engineer, are they paying you like $150,000 to $200,000? I always like to guess higher than what I think it will be, because then they come to us and say, no, it ain't that good. So, well, how much are they paying you? 92. Well, that's not bad. Right? So it's like just having fun, and the way I learn about it says, is any of that income passive? Like if you stop working for that company, do they keep paying you? I'm like, no. Okay. And so I'm just sitting there trying to understand what I'm working with, so when it's time to present, I know kind of where I'm going to be going. All right. Do you have an insurance license? Are you using it? If so, what company are you working with? What's your business model? How do you find your clients? How do you find your clients? How's it going for you? And again, similar questions. What do you like best? What do you like least? But really understanding the business model, which is going to come up where I talk a lot about talking with other licensed agents and how do we know what to present. What else we got? Okay. Now we start presenting. We've got an idea of where their pain is, what's going on, what they're looking for, where they've been. So as we start to present, my first thing, if I'm talking to somebody that's new to the insurance business, they've not been in insurance, they don't have a license, hey, my first thing is very simply put, Joe, we help people looking for help. I explain leads. I said, we've got the system where people raise their hand either through direct mail, through the internet, social media, asking for us to help them solve a problem that's around final expenses, Medicare, retirement protection, mortgage protection, no medical exam, life insurance. People have a specific need. They're reaching out to us. We get back with them. We help solve their problem. Then I'm talking a little bit. We work in 3 areas. We work in this phase of life, health, and wealth. And what we're doing is we're building a book of business. This is not a transactional business. This is a relationship business. Our lead gets us a client that we make a client by solving their first problem, and we're learning to solve additional problems along the way in these other areas. Then I'm talking about the fact that in each of these phases, we have multiple carriers. On the life side, we work with Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, AIG, Corbridge, Foresters. You've heard of some of these companies, right? And we also work with Humana, United, Aetna, Anthem. You've heard of some of those guys. On the financial wealth side, we work with Schwab, Fidelity Investments, and others. You've heard of these guys, right? Perfect. Okay. And then as we talk, I said along the way, we have a system of training and support. You get me and my staff helping you along the way. We have video-based support, phone-based support, live training. I'll cover a few things there. And I'll talk about the money. We make about $400 or $500 per deal when we help a family. And we also get to build passive streams of income through the form of renewals or something we call overrides. So I spend more time building on those concepts just to help people get that. If they don't, I'll ask, do you know what passive income is? If not, I break it down for them and help them understand that's why I really got drawn to this business. But the two biggest things I think are helping people looking for help, passive streams of income, are two things that I'll spend more time on for somebody that's not licensed because they probably are working a job where they don't have that opportunity. As I'm wrapping things up with the agent, hey, what do you like the most about what I've shared? I'm sure you got some questions for me. What kind of questions do you have? I'm not going to answer all of them, but I answer a couple. And then I'm saying, hey, Terry, here's why I think you could do well in our system. Based on whatever I heard in the conversation, I found or made notes of something I like, and I'm letting them know I want them on my team. Terry, I would like to have you on our team, and here's why. Because some people say, did you just say that to everybody? I said, no, Terry, I saw the sales job you put on Tia, and I know you're good at selling. I want you on our team. So this is the stuff I'm doing. Then I finally finish with, hey, Terry, how fast do you want to be out there helping some families and making some more money? And the answer is now, right now, yesterday, tomorrow. Either way, we start taking action. If they're not licensed, we get them in class. If they're licensed, let's say, hey, my assistant Sherry's at her desk right now. Are you near a computer? Are you near your phone? I know you're near your phone. Look, we can do all this pretty quick. I'm going to have Sherry call you. She's going to get you moving. If it's after hours, I'm going to see if I get one of my staff available after hours. If not, I might contract them myself right there. Why? Because they're hot and ready. Let's go. Okay. If they need more information, I book a meeting for a meeting. When I first started recruiting, my skills were weak. And when I had somebody and I didn't know what to do and I wasn't moving them forward, I said, you know what? I need to get you on the phone with my buddy Alex Abian. I say, he's probably going to have some more insight. You'll have some more questions for him. He's really good at this. Let me get you on the phone with him. And I bam-fammed the time or try to get Alex on the phone right there. So if I was newer when I was, that's what I did. And even right now, if I find somebody's securities license, I'm like, I need to get you on the phone with Chris Norris. And I'm trying to coordinate a bam-fam with Chris because if I know there's something that might be good for the estate planning, I'm going to use the resources that we have. And then did I say bam-fam? Okay, I get out my calendar, they get out theirs. We book a specific time to talk soon, like 24 hours or 48 hours from now. We're not going, well, maybe we should talk again next week. No, if I'm moving forward, we're going to be moving quickly. Okay? And then for those who are paying attention to Bell Krause in the estate planning, I lay out the roadmap of where we're going. Here's what we're going to do next. We're going to get your carrier contracted. You're going to have access to our training page. It's about 4 or 5 hours of material. It should take you 4 or 5 hours to get through it. Then we're going to help you review your personal coverage. We're going to make sure you understand what you have. And if there's anything lacking, we're going to help you understand why. And you're going to get commission on the work we do there. And then we're going to have you do some warm market coverage reviews. We're going to work with you on that so you learn how to get out somebody's policy and go over it, because that's what you're going to be doing when you start working with leads. And then we're going to have you running appointments with leads. Do you see any problems with these next steps? Anything you're violently opposed to? No? Awesome. Let's get you rolling. So this is part, and each step of the way on my follow-up as they're getting through this, I'm reminding them of the next steps ahead. Okay, so guys, I'll leave you with this. When I got started, I quickly realized this is harder than I thought it was going to be. You say, well, that's an inspiring note to end on. But I'll tell you in the same breath, and I tell everybody I talk to, this is way better than I could have imagined. The lifestyle that I have been a part of and be able to help deliver with Noelle to our family and the experiences we've created, if you tried to tell me 24 years ago that it would be this good, I probably wouldn't have believed you.